Welcome back, everybody. In today's video, I'll be making my own acoustic wall panels for my drum room. Let's get started. All right, so what do we need to make 2 of the 4x2 panels? We are gonna take 3 of these boards. They're not expensive. They're the 1x4 times 8-foot strips of wood, just raw wood, right? We're also gonna need some nails, some Z-clips, and then we'll take you over to see what else we get. I gotta find somebody to come and cut these for me though. We're gonna cut 2 of them in half, so it'll be 4 foot, and then 1 of them into 4 pieces of 2 foot. So the other thing that you're going to need is insulation. Specifically the rock wool insulation. I think they just got a batch here at the Home Depot where I go at. And I'll show you what that is. I already have a batch at home, so I don't need to buy anymore, but I will show you exactly what it is right here. The rock wool insulation is going to look like minerals and stuff inside. And one of these bags costs around like $75, but it allows you to make the 4x2s that allows me to make like 6 of those. So yeah, it's a pretty good amount. So yeah, a nice gentleman cut the wood for me. That's the wonderful part about this, that a lot of the work is already done. Cutting wood isn't too hard, but at the same time, it's work that I don't have to do. So, see, already cut. Another thing that I use is a plastic mesh to hold the insulation in place after I built it, so it doesn't like bulge out. I believe that's over here near like the windows or something at Home Depot. I'll show you what that looks like. Comes in a roll of 4 foot by, I don't even know. But it saves me a lot of time because it's already 4 feet long, so I just have to cut the other side. Let's find it. This is what I'm talking about right here. It's 21 bucks. Goes by 48 by times 84. And it's like it has little holes and stuff in it. You'll see it once I apply it. I already have a roll of this at home, so it shouldn't, I'm not gonna buy another one, but that's where it is. And it's actually by the windows or doors or something. As for the back, it's literally just an indoor-outdoor rug material. Super soft, so it sits against your wall. It holds everything together and provides a little bit more of insulation in the back. Yeah, that's it. These things are like 24 bucks. They're not expensive. And you can make maybe 4 of the panels with just one of these rolls, maybe 3. Something else I forgot is I get my cloth, because the front is going to be cloth, from Hobby Lobby. I like to use the stretchy material. I cannot remember what material I'm using right now, but it's we'll look at it when I get to the garage. The other thing is that there's also another insulation. There's an insulation board that I use, a white board. You'll see it when I get back to the house and we can start building these. But yeah, you can find those in the insulation area. It's a white foam board that I like to add to the back for a little bit more stability. Not stability, but it's so nothing moves around, and it's very lightweight. So the whole purpose is to take everything, make everything lightweight, so it doesn't fall off your wall, right? All right, so we have the rock wool insulation right here, which, by the way, these are 4 feet long, and that's why I chose to do 4 foot long boards here. This is what they cut for us at Home Depot. The other thing that we are going to need is going to be a staple gun with some staples. They don't have to be super crazy. That's actually what I use right here. I just dropped some. Let's see. And here's the mesh thing that we were talking about before. This is what it looks like. That's going to go over the front, so that way it holds the insulation in place. Then insulation over there. And there is the back piece. I've already made 2 panels just with one of the outdoor indoor rug things that I was talking about. And it looks like I can do 1 more, so it is going to be 3, and then I could possibly do like a 4x1 or something like that later on. So yeah, let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is take one of the 4-foot ones and a 2-foot one and connect them together. So let me set up a tripod so you guys can see that, and I will get right back to you. Before we start though, these are the boards that I was talking about that I put on the back. I just do one on the back just to kind of hold everything in place. I actually use these for my garage door to block out some sun. They are insulation foam panels, but I put them on there. It's another layer of stuff, and you know, the more layers that there are, the better. But primarily we want the sounds and the sound waves to be absorbed, right? So I washed my face just now. I'm not sweating, but yeah. We want the sound waves to be absorbed. That's what the insulation is for. But in order to do that, we need fabric that is not transparent per se. I use a stretchy fabric that this stuff right here that stretches out and it lets air in. So you can breathe through it. That's perfect. And then since this is so thin, or not thin, but well, it is thin. But since it's so like stretchy and stuff, I use that mesh layer, so then the foam doesn't push onto the fabric and push it outward. Some more of that material. This is what we're going to be using to make the front of it. So the first thing that we got to do is got to get the 2-foot and the 4-foot put together, and we're going to do that right now. I'm going to only use 2 nails for this, and what I do is I just kind of set my 4-foot along on top of something to kind of stabilize it, and then just kind of to the best of my abilities line this up. It doesn't have to be perfect since this is for me anyways, but and I take one of these nails, line it up around the middle, kind of the middle, as best you can. Start hammering it in. Hold it in with the other hand. That's one. And then that's 2. Now we're gonna get the other side. We're gonna grab another 2-footer and do the exact same thing again. For this one, it's a little easier to do because I don't have to sit on it and anything, since it's already balanced on its own. I can just go ahead and put what's already built down and put this right on top, and then work on one side and then the other. There you have it, a perfect rectangle, easy peasy. I mean, they cut it for me, I just put the nails in. The next step is to find which side is going to be your front. I chose this side because it has better quality on this side. And now we're going to apply the mesh to this side. And this is also already cut to 4 feet. So we're just going to try to apply over the edges on that way it'll actually cover this side as well as the other side. So we have to have enough to actually do all of that. So let's take a bit and try to measure out probably about right there. And probably about right there. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side, and we'll cut it. It doesn't have to be perfect because at the end you're going to end up stapling this thing together. Alright, so next step is to kind of line this up a bit at the edge. Move that down. That way I can work with it. We're going to line it up to both edges to here, and then we're going to staple it there. Let's see, this is about the same, right? Just about. Alright, then we're gonna do one side first, just to kind of hold it in place. This one. this side, we're gonna pull though. We're actually gonna pull hard. It's gonna go a little bit over, but we have to stretch it so we can get some of those wrinkles out. Okay, now we're gonna do the long way side, and of course, just like before, we're gonna pull this down and try to get a couple of staples in there. All right, there you have it. The mesh is now installed. The next step is going to be the cloth. For the cloth, I typically just do one layer on my personal ones. And I can't remember what kind of cloth this is. I'm gonna go look at the receipt in a second here. But in case you're wondering what kind of cloth that other companies use, like the actual brand companies use, I think they use like a suede. I personally use a stretching material that is breathable because I want the sound waves to actually go through this and through that and actually hit my insulation, because this insulation is what actually absorbs most of the sound. So I'm going to cut one layer of this out and place it on top and do the exact same thing I did with the mesh, so overlapping, and then I'll be able to staple on the other side. Okay, so if you did everything right, you should have something that looks like this, and the other side should look pretty good. It should be nice and smooth, ready to go. So now the next step is to put the insulation in. So luckily for us, the rock wool comes cut at 4 feet of length per slab. So we're just going to have to just cut 1.5 long ways to fit both of these, but I'll show you that in a second here. The first one we're going to put in. So here's the first one we're going to put in. We're going to just kind of stuff this in first, just like this, all the way in. Okay. And then the next step is we got to fill this spot, right? So we're going to grab another one, put it over this, and then just cut this one. You'll see how that works out. All right, so we take the other one and we're going to put it over this one, overlapping it. We're going to come out to the edge of the boards and to the edge of the wood, because we need it to be slightly bigger, so then it can be compressed afterwards. And now I just got to look for my knife. Now with a semi-sharp, not completely sharp knife, but has at least kind of like a serrated edge, we're going to go ahead and follow along on the other one. Just like that, and then we're going to take them back out. Take this one out. And now we're going to finish cutting this all the way through. I like to actually take this and do it on concrete though, like on my garage floor, because if I do it here, I can actually damage the mesh that's already in here or the cloth. So we'll take this completely out, cut it, and then put the remaining back in. And this should be just about cut right. for it, slightly bigger, and we'll squeeze that in there. Remember, you want it to be slightly bigger because you want it to fill the gaps. Okay, now we have to cut what's going on the back, which this is outdoor indoor carpet. It's like made out of some cool material that's like stiff but at the same time soft. For me, I already have this measured where I'm just gonna fold this over and then just cut. But for you, just make sure that it overlaps. You're gonna have to cut the edges later, but make sure that it overlaps a little bit over the size of your frame, because this is gonna have to cover edge to edge. And you'll see once I put it on what I'm talking about. Let me cut this out first. Here's the other thing that I usually add on to the back, and it's kind of the reason why I buy this at 4 inches, even though the insulation will fit at 3 inches. You don't have to do this. You could just buy 3-inch wood and put the insulation in there as is, and then just put the backing on it. I like to put one of these back here to kind of just hold everything in place and make it a little bit more stiff in the back. They do come a little bit bigger than I need, so I usually just line it up and then just do a score here, and then just end up finishing cutting it off. And this is going to fit perfectly right in the middle, right there. And then now we're going to put the other piece on top of all of this. Alright, so here's the final piece. And to kind of describe what this feels like, I don't know if y'all have ever been to like a movie theater and kind of just like touch the walls. It feels similar to that. It's almost like a theater wall carpet or something. So I kind of like it because it's cheap and it's soft on the back. So when it sits against your wall, it's not gonna mess up your wall. So we'll do our best here to kind of line everything up. We have enough material to go all the way around the edges. And now we're going to nail this one in place. I don't use staples because the staples that I have at least aren't big enough or thick enough to go through this and actually hold it in place without any issue. So I just staple mine. We'll grab onto the edge, find a good spot in the corner, and add a nail. So now we gotta cut the edges as clean as we possibly can. This will probably be a lot easier with like a razor blade or something, but I only have scissors right now. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I put in a nail on this side, but I did not put it on this side. The reason why I haven't put anything up here is because the Z-clip is gonna go on this thing. This one is rated for 75 pounds. We're gonna install that on this side of the frame so we can actually hang this thing. But let's go ahead and cut all this off and try to make it look clean. All right, for yours, you can definitely spend more time getting it a little bit more straight, a little straighter. But for me, this is good enough. Looks all right. Looks all right. Yeah. All right, everybody. The last step is to put the Z clips on. We're gonna try our best to kind of measure this out as evenly as possible. Not really perfect because I'm not perfect, but we're gonna do this and that. And I don't have a ruler, but I think we're gonna do just about right there. Okay. Okay everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video on how to make your own acoustic panels for pretty cheap. You don't have to go out and spend hundreds of dollars. I mean, most of the ones you're gonna buy are gonna have the exact same materials as this one. It's a DIY project that you're probably gonna enjoy, and every time you look at your wall, you're gonna be like, hey, I did that. I did that, yep. Well anyways, I'm gonna go hang this up just along with the other ones that I made recently. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.